It's been brought to my attention that y'all aren't lifers, that some of you might be listening to Getting Geeky with Game Relief the first time. If you are, welcome to the show. Thanks for pointing that out, Daniel, who recently found us with one of the previous True Messiah episodes. So, we'd like to, without further ado, bring you part 3, the final concluding part of our True Messiah, the time when me, Game Relief, sat down with Craig, the creator of True Messiah. This is our final one in which you will find out how to play the game and everything else about it. So, without further ado, here is me finishing up my interview with Craig. I hope you all enjoy.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf. Years ago, scientists constructed the belief engine, a machine that warps reality based on people's strongly held beliefs. It was turned on for testing, but proved too sensitive. Widespread belief in the depravity of man and fears of social collapse suddenly took on the full force of objective fact. Without resort to a shared reality, civilization crumbled like a sandcastle in the tide. From the ruins have arisen cults led by charismatic, messianic figures possessed of seemingly divine powers derived from the belief engine. You are one such a figure, the true one, the Messiah.
Per se, me and you were to sit down and play this game or whatnot, what would it look like, Craig? What would it sound like? This is a podcast after all.
What would it sound like? Oh, man.
Or how would we play it?
All right, so the way you play it, right, is you take out the game's quad-fold board, you unfold it, it's 18 by 18 inches. You would see it's divided on a grid. Depending on the number of players, it seats 2 to 4. You would take out the corresponding messiahs that you all wanted to play. You would find the starting spots on the board that corresponded to the number of players, and you would set up. So you would place down your holy city on your starting spot, you would place your messiah on your holy city, and you would place down 7 followers. If you've ever played Magic the Gathering, you know how, like in that game, you tap lands, and lands make mana, and mana is used to play spells.
I imagine other people listening have played it. How my friends worked it. I got into it. I bought a deck or something, and then as soon as I did, they stopped playing or whatnot.
Yeah, I loved Magic the Gathering back when I was a teenager, and I still have all my old decks if I can ever convince any of my friends to play it with me. Anyway, yeah, so some of the mechanics in True Messiah are inspired by Magic the Gathering, but with some cool little twists that really take advantage of the fact that everything's taking place in 2D space on a board. So, like, one thing, right, is in True Messiah, if you want your ideas to become real, right, if you want the belief engine to pick up on them and make them reality, you've got to have your followers believe. So you take a miracle card out of your hand and you have your followers pray, right? Every follower in the game, if you flip them over, on the bottom you just see a couple of praying hands. And that's what produces belief. And belief is what you use to pay the cost of your miracle cards so that the belief engine makes them real. So what you do, right, is you have your followers pray, they play miracles, you move your followers into a particular configuration on the board, 4 on an ordinary space. That starts them building a temple. It doesn't build the temple immediately. It takes a round, right? So there is one round in which all the other players have an opportunity to disrupt your temple before it builds. But if it builds successfully, then you get to place a temple there. And temples are important because they give you income, and they're your recruitment centers, and they're other places where your followers can pray. So you're constantly building and expanding and recruiting and playing miracles and gaining coins to get new and better miracles out of the market. And all the while you're defending your temples and you're engaging in tactical combat on the board. That's more or less how it plays.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Cool beans. So that's awesome. And how does somebody win? Like whoever has the most followers, or how does that work?
No, so this isn't like a Euro game where you're collecting victory points or just sitting on your butt and amassing resources or anything like that. This is a game where you actually want to knock out another player. The first player to take out another player wins the game, and there are 3 separate ways you can do that. One is to kill an enemy Messiah. If you do that, that player's out and you've won. The second way is to bring a player to less than 4 followers on the board. If a player ever has so few followers they can't even build a temple, they're out and you've won. Third way is to capture or destroy the enemy holy city. If you do that, that player's out and you've won.
So if there's 2, what if there's more than 2 players playing? Is it just whoever's left standing the longest?
No, it used to be that way, and then I realized that was terrible design, and I changed it. It's still first to knock out another player wins. And there are a couple reasons for that. The first one is, in Last Man Standing, it gives players the worst possible incentive, right? In Last Man Standing, right, if you're playing with more than 2 players, inevitably, the person who wins is the one who sits in the corner of the board and turtles and builds up their resources and doesn't actually engage. And the other 2 players, right, they're fighting, they're actually engaging, they're actually playing the game, but they're weakening each other. And meanwhile, the player who's just sitting on his butt not doing anything is getting comparatively stronger and stronger. And then, as soon as one of the other 2 wipes out the other, all the player that's been turtling the whole time has to do is just swoop in, mop up, because the other player is probably too weakened at that point to even put up a challenge. That's how you win in Last Man Standing, and it's boring. It's boring. You don't want to give players that incentive, or at least I don't. So instead, the game incentivizes a balance between building up your forces and aggression. Right? If you just sit in the corner of the board and turtle the whole time in True Messiah, you're probably going to lose, right? Because someone is going to knock out another player and they'll win, and you won't win because you didn't knock out another player. So the incentives in True Messiah are to be engaged and be active and to play as aggressively as you can without overextending, and that's part of the strategy. The other thing that I was going to mention that I don't like about Last Man Standing is if you're eliminated before the game ends, then you're just stuck there with nothing to do until the last other players are taken out. And who knows how long that could take, right? Like in a proper tactics game, in a strategy board game that goes a few hours, you could just be sitting around on your butt for like 1-2 hours. That's also really boring. We don't want that. So you don't have that problem in True Messiah. The first player to knock out another player. Once that happens, the game is over already. So there's no downtime for anyone.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I hate that with where you end up going out of the game and then you have to sit there forever or whatnot. So how do the turns look like? Is there a lot of things to do during your turn? I hear I suffer from analysis paralysis. Well, more of my friends hate me if I play True Messiah, as it'll take forever for my turn, or how's that work?
True Messiah turns proceed in phases. So the first thing you do in your turn is it's called the beginning phase, and it's pretty much all just automatic, right? You're just basically processing the effects of how you set up your units the last turn. You recruit new units, you draw back up to 6 cards in your hand, you build temples if you can, and that's it. That's your beginning phase. Very straightforward. Then it's the action phase. In the action phase, you're making hard decisions, right? You have 6 moves that you can make with your followers. The Messiah is a free move, and anyone that you leave on a holy space, that being your holy city or a temple, any follower that you leave on one of those holy spaces can pray, and you can play miracles. So you're making all these trade-offs between recruitment and playing miracles and positioning for combat and building new temples, and that can result in analysis paralysis. But I find that's very easily fixed. Just bring out your smartphone and set a 4-minute turn timer for everyone, and it proceeds real fast.
Oh, there you go. So is there a timer you built for it, or you just have to find a timer, or just?
Now, like if you have a smartphone, just open the little clock app, and there should be a timer in it. Like I'm looking at my Android phone right now. Yeah, just like the clock app, and then there is there's like a little timer tab that you can tap, and then you can just set a timer for 4 minutes, and it makes it real easy to keep turns to a reasonable time, and that way no one can complain about you rushing them, because everyone's subject to the same limit.
There you go. So you don't have one of those little old school ones they had for, I don't remember what games it was for, maybe Pictionary or Taboo, where the little sand timers for it.
Nah, I mean that would just add to the game's cost, and it would also like make it more expensive to ship because it would add to the game's weight. I mean, pretty much everyone, I think, at this point has a phone capable of timing something for 4 minutes. So, and even if you don't, like there are free apps on the internet. You can just like go in your browser, just type in like online stopwatch or something, and I'm sure you'll find some free site that will do it for you.
I guess worst case scenario, you could get one of those old school Kenshin timers. I think they go up all the way up to 5 or 10 minutes or whatnot, and get one of those going.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. If you're able to listen to this podcast, then you definitely have access to technology that can time something for 4 minutes.
There you go. There you go. So there you go. And you talked about the increase in cost or whatnot. I thought that was kind of interesting. I want to say there's something on your Kickstarter page. I'm trying to find it again. I lost it, but I think there's something that says where the money goes to. Is that correct?
Yeah, so in my previous campaign, I had a sort of a breakdown of where the money would go, and this time around, I decided to just make it very simple. I am only raising money for one thing and one thing only, and that is to fund a print run of the game at the lowest volume I can, which in turn means that I am seeking the lowest funding goal that I possibly can that will actually get the game made. And anything above and beyond that, any other expenses like shipping and whatnot, I will just pay myself out of pocket, because my priority is getting this game made. I think it deserves to exist, and I think people will really love it when they try it. So that's my priority.
Cool. There you go. And so it looks like they did it'd be a print run of 1,500. What happens if you end up getting more backers than that or not? Does it cost for each additional, or how's that work?
Right. So if I end up if it ends up blowing up and I get a ton more backers, and I have an opportunity to increase the size of the print run, I might actually do that, because that would actually result in costs per copy going down, and then that would potentially make the game not merely able to exist, but potentially even profitable, which would be nice. As it is right now, I probably won't make much of a profit on it, simply because of the way that volume pricing works. If you do a low volume print run, while that makes it a lot more affordable, it also means the per unit costs are such that you end up spending a lot per unit.
There you go. So per se, somebody takes a chance on True Messiah. I know you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but when should they anticipate getting their game?
At the very latest, I expect them to go out in October 2018.
Okay, so not too far away. That's pretty cool. Cool.
Yeah, we have final art and everything all ready to go. It's just a matter of getting the money to actually order a print run.
Okay, so the art's already taken care of. That's cool. And you can check out the art on the Kickstarter page. It looks like they got quite a bit of it there.
Indeed.
So that's good. So I don't know if you've listened. Well, it didn't sound like you had the chance to, and that's okay. But the next portion of our podcast is called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an app, be it for your smartphone, your tablet, a computer, or even a video game. It doesn't necessarily even have to be related to tabletop board gaming, But is there an app you use a lot of, Craig, that we can talk about for a moment?
So, I mean, if you're open to video games, I spend probably more of my time than I reasonably should playing Fire Emblem Heroes on my smartphone. It's really quite fun, and it's a nice little introduction to strategy RPGs if you haven't ever played games in that genre before.
Cool. Yeah, my wife and kids are big into that. So, somebody who hasn't seen it or heard about it or whatnot, what can you tell us about Fire Emblem's Heroes?
Fire Emblem Heroes is, gosh, how should I describe it? It's a very cleverly designed little strategy RPG. And I say it's cleverly designed because it sort of distills the Fire Emblem experience down to a sort of a smartphone format really well, like surprisingly well. And in some ways, I actually like it better than the mainline Fire Emblem games, which is weird to say, largely because it opts for deterministic mechanics, like across the board, whereas mainline Fire Emblem games generally do not. And I'm kind of a sucker for deterministic mechanics in tactics games, so I don't know. I find it very enjoyable, and I have honestly, never even spent a cent on this game, and yet I have a very full experience playing it, and I recommend it to just about anyone that's interested in tactics games.
Well, there you go. And are you like my wife and kids? They're trying to. They always have these banners and different things where you spend orbs, I guess it is, to get new characters, kind of like on Pokemon where you try to catch them all or whatnot. Are you big into that, Craig?
I've played a bit of Pokemon. It's not. I don't know. I think I probably tried it when I was too old and experienced in the ways of RPGs. I think if I played it when I was a kid, I would have loved it. But it's a little too simplistic for me these days. The whole spending orbs thing, though, that's called, I think, a gacha mechanic, and I'm not a huge fan. Like, it's a way for them to monetize an otherwise free game, so I get it. But I don't know. It's kind of designed to sort of catch people in a way where they're like psychologically vulnerable and get them into kind of a gambler's hook, if you will, where they end up just spending money hand over fist to try to get that one character, and they just keep gambling and gambling. And I don't know. I don't like that. I think it's kind of unethical. But on the other hand, to Nintendo's in Nintendo's defense, they did try going just the pay money, get a game route with Mario Run, and it didn't perform like even a fraction as well as Fire Emblem Heroes has. So they're doing what any large company does, and they're making a hard-nosed business decision. I think it's kind of unethical, but it's not my choice to make.
Yeah, well, it sounds like they're making quite a. If we're talking to my wife, they make quite a bit of money on that. She hasn't yet to pay either as well, but she's always trying to get like Santa, Robin, or different characters or whatnot.
Right? Yeah, Christmas Robin. That's a really good armored unit.
So there you go. So I guess it sounds like we kind of know the answer or whatnot. You can use that one or you can use another one. But if you own the rights to Fire Emblem Heroes, what would be one thing you would do to make it a better app or fix it, Craig?
Oh, wow. That's a fascinating question. Probably. So it's funny. If you had asked me this a few months ago, my number one answer would have been to give it a single player campaign with a story that's actually worthwhile. Because, it launched with a single player campaign that, frankly, was garbage. Like, just the story was really half-baked, and the writing was really iffy, and it was just really, really just, they put in the minimum effort. Really all their effort was going toward, like multiplayer and special events and things to kind of, play into the gacha hook instead of really providing a full-featured and satisfying single-player campaign. I feel like they're working on that now. Like the single-player campaign they're offering at this point, I think it's Book 2 is what they're calling it, is much better. There's much more of a story. It's still kind of cliche, but it feels like a proper campaign, which I feel like they're on the right track with that. I guess if it were my app, I would devote more resources to that instead of just coming out with new units all the time and coming out with like variants of existing units with special costumes. Like, I understand they got to do that to kind of milk the fan base and make money, but I don't know. I guess I'm a traditionalist. I'm a sucker for narrative. I like a good story.
Yeah, us too, for sure. The narrative is important. So yeah, sometimes my wife, they'll and the kids they'll watch these different YouTube videos or whatnot. The most recent one they showed me was somebody turning the different what are the catchphrases some of the characters sing, some of the characters say into like a song or whatnot.
Yeah, there's a surprisingly vibrant community on YouTube that just makes all kinds of silly videos about Fire Emblem Heroes. It's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, they really get into it. My our our youngest daughter, she'll be 5 pretty soon here, but we call her Bat Leaf, and Bat Leaf is really into what is it? She calls it the Mother Show. I don't know exactly what it is, but somebody's mom in Fire Emblems is killed or something, and so she's always wanting to watch that one.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, I don't know much about it, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. So so you said get more narrative. That sounds like the big thing, minus trying to get everybody's money to have more narrative.
Yeah. Like, one of the things I personally find most satisfying about the Fire Emblem series is, the way the story and the narrative sort of unfolds both through and in between battles. And sort of watching characters like form relationships with each other, and it's a very satisfying thing that really complements the actual gameplay really well, and I find that to be the main thing that's lacking for me in Fire Emblem Heroes. Like, you never really get away from the whole this is just a silly little smartphone contrivance. Like, the actual mechanics as implemented in the game are really pretty good, but the story doesn't measure up, in my opinion.
Well, there you go. So you heard it. We're like trying to make a green podcast around here, Craig. So I don't know if they're listening right now, but if the creators or anybody that has anything to do with over there at Fire Emblems Heroes or Nintendo, if they were listening, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer League, what Craig would do to fix it or make it a little bit better.
I'm sure they're waiting with bated breath to hear my opinion on that.
Well, there you go. But now it's going to be out there in the open, so you can't never say you didn't tell them nothing, Craig.
True fact.
My wife's going to tell me that was a bunch of double negatives and whatnot. Oh, well. Anyways, so yeah, so minus coming there to the Windy City to stalk you in person, how would people go about finding out about your games or what you have going on or whatnot, Craig?
Well, gosh, there's a few different ways. The main way is to go to my website, sinisterdesign.net. That's SINISTERDESIGN.net. I have my gaming blog there where I post updates about what I'm working on. I have blog posts where I talk about my game design philosophy. There's links there to all my games. We have forums where you can go, and I keep a regular developer's log of whatever game I'm working on at the time, where I try to post daily updates on that. I have a Twitter account that's just at Sinister Design. I'm on Facebook as well. If you just search for Sinister Design, it's the one with the games on it, and you can tell because it has like that True Messiah banner at the top. It's pretty hard to miss.
Okay, cool. So how did you come up with that name, if you don't mind us asking? Sinister Design.
Oh yeah, it's funny. I had this kind of tongue-in-cheek idea back when I first came up with the company that I was going to, at some point pay some 2D animator to kind of like almost like Disney style just animate this scene of this angry mob in like, I don't know, like 18th century France, and there would be this angry man just like waving aloft a copy of one of my games, and he would be saying, "This game is a product of sinister design," and then, it's a pun, right? Because sinister design meaning like evil intent, but also it's a game design studio, so I like puns is the thing. So I came up with the name Sinister Design in that fashion. I never actually made the animation, obviously, but that is the genesis of the name. And I don't know, maybe one day if I ever have anything that's like actually really financially successful and I'm just rolling in the dough, maybe I'll actually commission an animation like that. That'd be fun.
Well, there you go, and you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, where that came from, or if you end up seeing the animation, you'll be able to know why or whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, we don't want to keep you all night, Craig, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Any final words for the audience about why they should take a chance on True Messiah, a game of Cold Warfare that's on Kickstarter through the 11th of April, it looks like?
Yeah, it's a game with beautiful and evocative art, totally unique tactics-focused game mechanics, and you're unlikely to ever see a game like it ever again. So if you want it made, now is the chance to get on board and bring it into reality.
Well, there you go, and it sounds like you'll get it this year or whatnot. Yeah, and like, just even if you don't have the money, or you don't know if you have the money or whatnot, go ahead and check out the Kickstarter page. We'll leave a link in the show notes or whatnot, and just check it out. That's the least you can do after listening to what this is. We ended up splitting this up into 3 different episodes. So yeah, definitely after listening to Craig and me going on and on for a couple different episodes, you definitely want to at least go check out the Kickstarter page.
That'd be nice. I'd appreciate it.
There you go. So yeah, we'll let you go. Like I said, we don't want to keep you all night, Craig, but we really appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And to all of you out there who've been listening to me babble on, thanks for listening. And I hope you check out the Kickstarter, and I hope you enjoy the game.
There you go.
It's time for Kickstarter Corner. To begin now.
Before getting on with it, I thought I should let you know there's going to be some exciting news coming from Getting Geeky with Game Relief. If you're not, or even if you are, make sure you pay attention to our website for a new pop-up that will be coming relatively soon, within the coming days, I hope, in which you can go ahead and subscribe to our email mailing list, in which there will be some exciting things. If you've already subscribed, make sure that you subscribe again, because this is a different list and you don't want to miss anything. A couple of things that will be coming to you: a chance to win contest, giveaway, yeah, for all the games that were not claimed during our last giveaway. If you did claim it and you sent an email to me, don't worry, we're not going to give your prize away. But if you can, send me an email reminding me at gamerelief@gamereliefgo.com, or Facebook message me at BlakeLeafD or Getting Geeky with Game Relief, and remind me, and we'll make sure we get that out to you. But don't worry, so if you're signing up new, even if you've already won from us, go ahead and sign up for our mailing list. The pop-up will come on our website, which is gamerelief@gamereliefgo.com, within the coming days. So make sure you watch that. That's kind of like Pokemon Go, but it's really Game Relief Go. So Game Relief, www.gamereliefgo.com. Watch out for that. That'll be coming to you. But now, on with, Kickstarter Corner. Oh, and also, I wanted to let you know that this one is almost done. Craig's game is almost done, so make sure you go ahead and back it. Show a little bit of support, even if he doesn't fund. As long as you go ahead and click that link on our show notes, you can show that support and keep getting us great guests on the Getting Geeky with Game Relief podcast. So yeah, anyways, check that out, and like I keep on saying, on with the Kickstarter Corner. The show must go on. So first off, we've got Arena the Contest, which at the time of this recording, they are 956% funded. Do you believe that? Anyways, besides what they're funded at, I imagine you'd like to know a little bit about the game. If I was you, I know I would. So, let us tell you about it. Arena the Contest. Tabletop Miniatures board game. It's a fantasy tactical combat miniature tabletop for 1 to 8 players with a competitive dungeon crawler and player versus player team competition. This game is really fun. They're going for $50,000 and they got $478,000 right now, and they still have 15 days to go, ending on Thursday, the 26th of April. Make sure you check that out on Kickstarter. We'll leave all the links like we usually do in the show notes. But yes, and hopefully, well, we should. I don't know why we wouldn't, other than life keeps coming at us like a wrecking ball. But we want to get Arena the Contest reviewed or previewed, whatever you'd like to call it. So we'll make sure we get after that so you can find out what the Leafs think about this great game. And let's see here. But yeah, anyway, check it out on the Kickstarter. They have some cool miniatures. And they're not the only game with miniatures out. There's others too. But there's another game that doesn't have miniatures, but it's also cool. Rebels of Ravenport upgraded. Assemble your guild. Defy the Overlord. Take back Ravenport, a competitive card drafting strategy game. For only $25? Are you out of your mind? It's only $25? They, at the time of this recording, it was 64 hours to go. So they're getting close to the time finishing, and also close to their goal, but they need some more supporters like you. So let's jump on there and show them our support. Less than $2,000, well, a little bit more, less than $3,000. Do we need to be technical on here? Anyways, they end on Friday the 13th of April. Make sure you check this one out. And then Tay Woo's Cat Rescue, the game of saving cats. Cat Rescue is a 1 to 4 player co-op game. Players work together to save cats and adopt them, just like real life. They're going for all kinds of stretch goals on this, as they were going for $5,000, and they're $22 away from $13,000. They got 9 days to go. Check it out. I want to say one of their stretch goals is even, you get this, an application. That's right, an application. iOS and Android app. New $37 pledge, you can get support the app development. Whoa, so they are going to do that? That would be awesome. That would be perfect for, you guessed it, adventures in application acquisition. That would be so cool. I want to talk to Tay Woo about getting this app and previewing it for you. Yes, you. And then another one is Dungeon Brawl, a customizable free-for-all RPG board game. In this board game, your friends are now your enemies, vying for the treasure. Choose a class, create a deck, and destroy your friends. Your dungeon crawl has now become your Dungeon Brawl. We did have the creator and mastermind behind this on the show not too long ago, so if you want to know more about it, go back and listen to that great interview. It sounds like a really awesome game as well. And then what else do we got? We've got Swords and Sails, rewrite history in 1000 AD. Swords and Sails is an epic conquest and diplomacy game about leading your armies and fleets through medieval Europe in 1000 AD. Guess what? Guess what, people? They have funded. Yes, they have funded, and they still got 17 days for you to jump on the bandwagon and check out this great game. Not only that, we'll have Jason on the show hopefully next week. I got to hit him up, as we had some family emergencies coming up last weekend, so we didn't get him on the show this week, which I apologize for. But definitely listen back so you can find out more about this great game, which has funded, I repeat, has funded. Then we've got Wasteland, the Rise of Altfelter. Wasteland ROA is based on the Wasteland universe and is a flagship title in a series of upcoming projects and designs by Team Siren. They've only got 3 days to go, so we got to show them a little bit of love. They're about a third of the way to their goal, so if they don't make it, I hope they relaunch. Definitely check out the Kickstarter. Click on our show notes or links or whatnot. And then we've got 5th edition player starter kit. Check this one out too. They're pretty far from their goal, and they only got 41 hours to go. They're only going for $318, and it looks like you can get the kit for only $20. So we need to get some more backers there if we could. So check it out. It's a Dungeons and Dragons starter kit to help brand new players get a taste of what it's like playing Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're intimidated or you know somebody who is, definitely check out this great project. And then last but not least, we've got Fractured Zombies. Now, you've heard of regular zombies, but what about fractured ones? Well, Fractured Zombies is a card game involving letter cards designed by a dyslexic, also involving chainsaws, guts, brains, and severed hands. Definitely check this one out for sure, as it only has 20 days to go, and they are so very close to being funded. Right now, they're at $2,647, and they want to go to $2,836. So definitely check this one out. I would keep in mind, just like with True Messiah, this one is probably 14 and up. You don't want to give your children nightmares. Well, maybe you do. And then that's all we got on Kickstarter Corner. Reminder, you want to make sure, even if you are subscribed to it, you want to make sure you're subscribing to our newsletter. Go to my website, www.gamerleafgo.com. And within a few days, you should have a live pop-up which will let you subscribe. And the reason you want to do this? Well, do you want to get even more content? It'll still be free. Just go ahead and click an email link, and we will email you a podcast before the other people, or an exclusive podcast. Can you believe that? Well, you better, because it's going to happen. Also, there will be some giveaways going on just for signing up for the mailing list, so definitely check that out. Yes sirree Bob, check it out. We're actually getting some help with this from Sky Carlisle of Board Game Websites. If you need help with your board game website or your Kickstarter, go ahead and check out boardgamewebsites.com. It's a pretty cool thing that Sky's been doing for the industry. I'll have to have him on the show sometime. We were thinking about doing a segment. Who knows? Maybe that segment can be emailed to you if you're a creator and listen. Anyways, make sure you go ahead and click on that, sign up for the email, even if it's just to win a game. Do you want to win a game? Do you want to get exclusive podcasts? There's all kinds of crazy stuff going to be coming at you from just signing up for our simple newsletter, Getting Geeky with Game Relief. So go to www.gamerleafgo.com. And now is our least favorite time, your least favorite time where we got to get on with our lives. You got to get on with your lives, but go ahead and in the meantime, get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into Geekfold, and we'll catch you all on the flip side. Game Relief out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.